What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Chef. We are back, and you already know what time it is. It is time for the YAK Pod episode number 84, and we are moving right along. Shout out John F. and Lord in the chat, and everyone else who will join in a little bit later. So there were some things that I really wanted to talk about. I think that this Jordan Love situation is absolutely hilarious, even though he has been at OTAs and he's saying all the right things. There is a huge gap between the Packers and Jordan Love. Jordan Love, I believe they didn't pick up his fifth-year option or something like that. So now he's on a 1-year I've heard different things, $12 million or $13.5 million deal. He doesn't want to play on that, and he has threatened to sit out. He has threatened to sit out the entire year. Apparently, he has no issues sitting out for the entire year, a la Le'Veon Bell. But we're going to get into that a little bit later because obviously it is OTAs. And this was the first day that the media was allowed into the OTAs. So we got a lot of things that have been coming out about this team. We have some media availability. We've got some sound bites from Dan Campbell. We've got some sound bites from Carlton Davis. And we have some sound bites from JMO as well. Now, as you can see from the thumbnail, JMO is the prime character on the thumbnail. He is in the front. He is him, pretty much. I mean, again, JMO. That's right, John F. and Lord. That is what we are going to be talking about today. Now, back to before, as I said, having conversations with JMO haters. And we call them JMO haters because they just don't seem to be able to understand what a JMO breakout season would look like for the Detroit Lions. What do you think a top 3, top 5 offense is going to look like when your number one deep threat, number one guy that can touch the ball at 2 yards from the line of scrimmage and take it all the way to the house, your number one guy that can take a ball from behind the quarterback on a jet sweep or a reverse and take it 40 yards or take it directly to the house? What do you think it looks like when that guy is not a gimmick player or a here and there sprinkle in or break glass in case of emergency type of player? What do you think happens when that guy is a mainstay who's a major player in your offense? Well, I can tell you a few things that will happen. Stretching the field does what for the offense? Stretching the field stretches. What happens when something is compact, right? It's tight. Can't move around a lot. When you stretch the field, it opens other things up. Not only will you be able to hit JMO over the top, but you will also be able to eat underneath JMO when JMO runs go routes. And because of his speed, which is elite level speed, and the other the defensive coordinators are like, yeah, we got to send 2 people with that guy. We've got to send the corner and we've got to send the safety over the top. And now I know we need the safety to come down and help cover Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle of the field. Wait, what? What? We're taking resources away from covering Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle of the field so that we can account for JMO not being able to beat us over the top? You mean to tell me you have to move players out of a certain portion of the field to put them in another portion of the field? And when you move players out of a certain portion of the field, that means they have vacated that part of the field, which means that that part of the field is going to be more open. this rocket science thing that I am learning about is amazing. Okay, it's amazing. Rocket science is amazing. You're telling me that you can't have one player split into two? You're telling me that when you have a player on the field that makes you account for him in multiple ways, that you can't actually add more people on the field? So if you're telling me that one guy is going to take up two guys, one guy on our side is going to take up two guys on your side, you mean to tell me you can't just add an extra player? We need just bring in 13. Give us two more. Two. Ref, is that okay? Two? That's okay. Okay. All right, bring two more in. Bring two more. Well, we're good. We're ready to cover J-Mo now. We're ready to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown. We're ready to cover Sam Laporta. We're ready to cover Jahmyr Gibbs leaking out of the backfield. We're ready to cover David Montgomery coming out of the backfield. We're ready to cover Sione Vake coming out of the backfield because we have 13 players on the field now. So it's okay. Now it's fair. That's not how football works. So for any of the JMO haters out there who don't understand why it's so important and why us JMO apologists, right? I am self-proclaimed keeper of the JMO. I am the keeper of the JMO. I am a JMO apologist through and through because I understand what JMO can do. So us JMO apologists are out here apologizing for JMO because we know that if he gets it right, this offense is going to be damn near unstoppable. It's already in the top 5, but it's going to be top 1, and it's going to be a pick your poison offense. If you want to shut down the middle of the field so that we can't do anything with Sam Laporta and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and you want to crowd that middle, and then that you want to give Jameson Williams one-on-one coverage down the field, good luck. Good luck. The only team, and here's the thing. Nate Wiggins runs a 4.28. And if JMO had run the 40, it probably would have been faster than that. Okay? I think JMO has 4.25 speed. All right? I think if you put JMO and Xavier Worthy, I had to get his name right. You put JMO and Xavier Worthy on the same track, Xavier Worthy might get him by a step or half a step. That's it. Right? It's going to have to be a tail of the tape. You're going to have to take a picture and see who won that, who crossed the tape first. That's how much speed that Jameson Williams has. The guy that just ran a 4.21 40, which was the fastest 40-yard dash in combine history, Jameson Williams would maybe be half a step behind him in a race. Okay, and we're speculating that it's a half a step behind because we didn't see Jameson Williams run the 40 because he didn't run it at the combine. Why? Because he was injured. Right? Jonathan Lawrence says 4.3. All right, so here's some context, Jonathan Lawrence. I ran a low 4.4, high 4.3 when I was in high school. I would not have been able to keep up with Jameson Williams. I'm gonna tell you that right now. So 4.3 speed for JMO, I think is a little bit low. It's a little bit low. I'm giving him a high 4.2. Now, if we're being quite honest, like I said, I did chase down a guy that ran a 4.2. But obviously I was running in a straight line and he had a couple of jukes that he had to make. So if we're being quite honest, there isn't a really huge difference between a 4.2 and a 4.4. If we're being honest, right? Lesson Lions record him at practice. We need to get that We need to get, like, maybe we'll get Broder on that and ask someone to record him at practice. But it's not a huge difference. It's really for numbers' sake. But in the NFL, when a wide receiver is open, once he gets a step, what's going on, mile marker? All good, man. All good. So in the NFL, when a wide receiver is open, once he gets a step on a cornerback or once he gets a step on a DB, that 4.2 versus a 4.4 matters because we're talking about 2 steps, right? And we're talking about you running a go route and being 2 steps ahead of that DB. You're open, and essentially he is burnt, right? So this is what we're talking about. This man, if you're going to put him one-on-one in coverage, Nate Wiggins is the only cornerback that I can think of right now that is going to be able to keep up with Jameson stride for stride if you're running a go route. All right? Now, if you're running a slant and go, if you're running a hitch and go, if you're running anything with double moves, that 4.28 speed of Nate Wiggins is drastically impeded because he doesn't know what the receiver is doing. He's reacting to the receiver. So that hesitation that you get from not anticipating that the receiver is running a double move means you stop in your tracks for a half a second, and that half of a second is enough time for a receiver like Jameson Williams to get separation from you. Now, because you run a 4.28 as well, you may be able to recover. Your recovery speed is also going to be a lot faster. But he still caught the ball. He still made the first down, right? The difference between Nate Wiggins and Tease Tabor, right? A guy that runs 4.6 as a cornerback, or Kamari Lassiter, who also runs 4.6 as a cornerback. The difference is if they hesitate, J-Mo's gone. There is no recovery speed. You're running a 4.6 and he's running a 4.2. There's no recovery speed. So now if you don't want to single cover J-Mo, and if you want to double J-Mo, like we said, then it opens up the field, the middle of the field for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. You know, if you want to double Amon-Ra St. Brown, it leaves It leaves Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams. You got to single them up. You know, so it's a really bad matchup for defenses all across the league. So this is, yes, mile marker, we're talking J-Mo. So it leaves defenses in a conundrum across the league. It's like, okay, you're gambling now. Like, what are we? Shout out J-Mo. No shots at J-Mo, right? What should we do? What should we do? We have to make a decision. Look at the decision. We're talking about people making decisions. Aaron Glenn made a decision to put Jeff Okudah on DK Metcalf one-on-one. I feel, and I would have to go back and look at the tape, I feel like the decision was made because DK Metcalf called him out. He called him out about the week before when everyone thought he shut down Justin Jefferson, which was laughable. That never happened. He had safety help for the entire game. I think that the decision was made because of the call out. But then also, like I said, I would have to go back and look at the film. It could have been some other reason that he decided to leave Jeff Okudah on an island with DK Metcalf. The results of that decision were horrible, as Jeff Okudah gave up a$140 and a tutty. So when you're looking at an offense with Jamison Williams going off, with Jamison Williams breaking out, with Jamison Williams getting 800 yards receiving and 400 yards rushing, when you're looking at an offense with that man in it, and he is playing up to I'm not even gonna. He's not even going Super Saiyan yet. We don't even need him to go Super Saiyan this season. If he goes Super Saiyan this season, it's gonna be a huge problem. But he doesn't even need to be in his final form, right? Because really, this is his first full season, so we don't even need him to be in his final form. If he's in his second form, right, bruh. How do you cover that? Like, how do you manage that? If he's able to get 800 and 400, how do you manage that as a defensive coordinator? How do you manage that? Right? That's right, Jonathan Lord. We go everywhere here. We go everywhere in the kitchen. Uh, I just don't know. Like, it's unfair. It's unfair. Like, just think of Tyreek Hill on this offense. And I think, to be honest, and it's not a hot take because I'm going to say it. I don't really do hot takes. I think, to be honest, that Jameson Williams has the ability to be a better all-around wide receiver than Tyreek Hill. I'm just saying. He's a little bit taller than Tyreek Hill. Obviously, he's not as stocky. Probably, again, just as fast. I'm not going to say faster. We're talking about the Xavier Worthy difference. What, half a step slower than Xavier Worthy and Tyreek Hill. I want to see Tyreek Hill and Xavier Worthy race because Tyreek Hill is believed to be the fastest receiver in the NFL. And before Xavier Worthy came in, no one would argue with you. But now I want to see both of them race. I want to see what happens. But I think the way in which the Detroit Lions are going to deploy JMO in this offense, we've seen just about everything. We haven't seen the short to intermediate routes with him being schemed open to take those to the house. We haven't really seen those things. We haven't seen the screen game. The screen game is not a large part of Ben Johnson's offense. And rightfully so. I really don't I hate wide receiver screens. I hate them so much because so much has to go right for a wide receiver screen to actually work. And when it doesn't work, it's a back to the line of scrimmage play. Like, it's a wasted play. It's generally not a loss of downs or a loss of yards, but it's just a wasted play, right? If I was going to just get the ball back to the line of scrimmage, then I could have just quarterback sneak for no reason, right? If you're quarterback sneaking for absolutely no reason, your quarterback probably is going to fall forward for 2 yards, which is going to get you more than a wide receiver screen. I hate smoke screens. I hate them so much. If you're not playing off coverage, don't throw a smoke screen. A smoke screen needs to be thrown with the receiver or with the cornerbacks 5 yards off of the line of scrimmage, because it gives your corner an opportunity. Not your corner. It gives your receiver an opportunity to actually catch the football and make a move. If it's man coverage across the board, it's really it's got to be blocked well. The coverage has to be perfect. I really don't like wide receiver screens. I just don't like them. But if Ben Johnson were to scheme that up as part of his package, Ben Johnson would be wholly aware of all those things that I said, and it might be something. It might be something. And also the thing that, so when he caught his first pass in the NFL, which was a touchdown, he was allowed to get behind the defense because I don't think he was a focus. I think if Jameson Williams starts doing all the things that I believe that he can do, he will be a focal point of defenses. There aren't going to be any defenses that are going to be like, well, whatever. It's a new guy, number 9 on the field. We don't have any film on him. We don't know what he can do. So whatever. I don't think that's happening. That's not going to happen this year. So again, and I'm 20 minutes in, I haven't shown any of the video that I have because, listen, I could talk about J-Mo for 2 hours, man. J-Mo is my guy. And the crazy part about J-Mo is that he started out his career at Ohio State. He started out his career at Ohio State University. But here's the difference about Jameson Williams. I've never hated a player on the Detroit Lions unless they were untalented. Unless they were just bad players. Both Jameson Williams, and I give Jameson Williams mad respect and props for leaving Ohio State. So that's probably one part of my bias. Like, I can respect the fact that he made a bad decision, but he showed the ability to correct his bad decision by leaving Ohio State University. But the difference between him and Jeff Okudah, you guys know by now, I cannot stand Jeff Okudah. I cannot stand anyone saying anything good about Jeff Okudah on the football field. Whatever he is off the football field, hope he's a stand-up guy. Hope he's a valued contributor to his community. Hope he gives charity. Hope he visits sick kids. I hope he does all these things. And I hope he has a fantastic life. On the football field, I can't stand for anyone to say anything good about Jeff Okudah on the football field. Because he is one of the worst corners consistently that I have ever seen play football in the National Football League. Most players that had the amount of touchdowns given up, the amount of yards, the amount of catches given up that Jeff Okudah had would have been benched. They would have been benched, but because we picked him number 3 overall, which was a travesty, they felt like they needed to continue trotting him out there. The man was burnt toast. The man was untalented. The man was poor in his technique. The man had bad footwork. He had bad hips. Everything. So if you would have said, I can't see the talent in Jeff Okudah, I would have been right there with you, 100%. Because I agree. Can't see it. When people say stuff like that about J-Mo, it makes absolutely no sense. It's asinine. It's like, you can see the talent. You can see the speed. You can see the ability. And now he's starting to put things together, as you could see down the stretch of last season, as you could see in the NFC Championship game. Did you not lose your mind when that man took that reverse 40 yards to the house and was stumbling and bumbling to get the last 5-10 yards of that into the end zone? Did you not lose your mind? I was running around my house screaming. I was like, let's go! Yeah! Right? I was just going nuts. I've never done that for a player that had no talent. I just haven't. It doesn't work that way. So JMO haters, again, I don't understand what kind of people you are, what kind of human beings you are. Okay, like I said, but this and my last foray into the JMO hater waters happened. I think it was yesterday when I was talking to someone on X, or the day before, and it was just like he just kept hedging his bets. Like there's got to be something wrong, blah 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 blah. And I was like, dude, Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are not going to sit here and blow smoke up somebody's butt for no reason. Like they're not going to sit here and gush. And you'll see what I mean in a second. They're not going to sit here and gush over JMO. There are two things that you can go back and look at why that's not the case. The first thing was that, remember when Dan Campbell said that JMO is never going to be like a super all-world hands catcher? He's just not going to be that type of guy. And the second thing, when right before the suspension came down, they asked something about Jameson Williams. He was like, yeah, he's in the building. Next question. Business and gravy. You know, I'm just here so I won't get fined. You know, it was just that kind of energy that Dan Campbell had about JMO. Now he's gushing about him. He's been gushing about him since the league meetings in Florida. He's been gushing about him. Let's go to Dan Campbell gushing about Jameson Williams, because I told you I was going to do it. And here it is.
But when it comes to JMO, just how would you like him coming back? You know, you guys are probably going to look him to step into a number 2 role, and what does he come back like?
Yeah, look, there again, all right, so we started this thing, back in April, and, you got phase 1 for a couple of weeks. Then we've been on the grass for 3 weeks in phase 2, which has been routes on air and fundamentals and individual and doing all this. And then we're 2 practices in, and if you said, give me one player that is the most improved from that start to finish in that time, JMO would be that guy right now. All right, he is a man on a mission, and I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, I'm going to leave it at that.
What's the reason? What's the reason that you're gushing over that man? If Dan Campbell felt that he was just kind of, just going through the motions or just whatever, Dan Campbell would have said that. Evening, Sir Richard. How are you doing? Nice to see you again. So Dan Campbell would have said that. Right? He wouldn't have said, this is a man on a mission, and he's been the most improved player from the start of the offseason program up until now. Why do you need to say that if it's not true? Dan Campbell he's going to shoot you straight. When Goff, in the beginning, when Goff wasn't playing well, what did he say? We need to see more from Jared Goff. He's a better player than this. I didn't believe him at the time. Okay? Now, the needing to see more part, yes, 100%. He's a better player than this? No, I did not believe it at the time. I did not believe that Jared Goff was a better player than what he was producing at the time. Now, did he prove me wrong? He sure did. Am I glad he proved me wrong? Yes, I am. Right? I'm a Goff guy. Like we went over here and we looked at how many quarterbacks you would put over Goff, or that I would put over Goff. And I think I found 4. Definitively 4. Right? Definitively 4. So in his first year, I probably would have put everybody over Jared Goff. All of them. Right? So what is the point of Dan Campbell sitting here talking about JMO this way if it's not the truth? Let's listen to Carlton Davis talk about JMO. But Carlton Davis is going to say a little bit about himself first, and then he's going to get into JMO. Let's hear that.
It's exciting.
What do you think you bring to the table? I know we asked you that when you came here, but now that you're on the field, you've seen the scheme a little bit. How do you fit into it? What do you think you bring?
I mean, I'm about to just lock shit up. You know, excuse my French, but I'm about to lock number one receivers up, get my hands on some balls, get the ball back to our offense, and play physical, and bring the energy. And you'll see.
You talk about the competition in the room. How about the competition on the field when you're going up against a guy like J-Mo?
Yeah.
Dan said that he's one of the most improved players this season.
Man, he is. He has a bright future. I love going up against him. He just has so many tools in his toolbox, man. He can beat you running fast. He can snap down. He's a threat in a lot of different ways. So when you're going up against a guy like that every day, you have no choice but to get better.
Can you make him better?
Oh yeah, I'm making him better. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make him one of the best receivers in the league, man. That's my goal. And that's what everybody who I go up against on my team. I'm gonna push them. They're gonna push me back, and that's the competitive spirit that I've been talking about.
I mean, so I was told by the J-Mo haters that he's nothing but a deep threat. He's nothing but a deep threat. He can't run any routes. What are some other things? Like, what are some other things that the J-Mo haters have said? Now, he can't do anything other than that. And then Carlton Davis says he's got a bunch of tools in his tool belt. He can beat you running fast. He can snap down on the routes. Sounds like he can do a lot of things. Sounds like he's very well-rounded, and sounds like he's been doing a lot of work. So later when he talks about, from his own mouth, about the work that he's been doing, we'll kind of figure out how and why the excitement for J-Mo is so high, is on another level. Dan Campbell fully expects Jameson Williams to be the number 2 wide receiver on this football team. The head football coach expects this. Oh, yeah, he loses sight of the ball. He can't track the ball well. Blah, 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 blah. Turns the wrong direction. Yeah. He loses the ball in the light. Now, criticism for that Tampa Bay that Tampa Bay touchdown catch. He turned left and right 2 or 3 times. But I will say at the end of that play, there was 6 on the board. There was 6 on the board. So if he turned left and right 2 or 3 times and that play ended up with nothing on the board, then I could understand complaining about it. I don't care if he came off the line of scrimmage, tripped over his left foot, did a front flip and then a barrel roll, got up, and then still caught a touchdown pass. What? I don't care what happened. Good job. You recovered from whatever mistake you made, and you recovered very quickly within the same play. It happened within the same play. That's where your recovery happened. Not the next play, not the next drive, not the next quarter, the next half, the next game. Same exact play. So I'm just trying to understand it. Like I'm trying to understand what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about? So I mean, again, this is the thing that I wanted to see the most out of OTAs. There were a lot of people that didn't practice in OTAs, and they were either just not doing any work. They said they're being smart with Terrion Arnold and Ennis Rakestraw. Terrion Arnold was doing some individual drills. So Dan Campbell started out joking about the amount of people that were out and the fact that they would be on the PUP list or not available for the Rams game. Because with this being OTAs and people want to freak out about who's not practicing. And he said, so they're either out for personal reasons or they're just being smart with him. Another thing that he talked about on, what was it? He said the people that were out, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I lost it, but it'll come back to me. Carlton Davis said that Ennis Rakestraw has been injured. He's probably that same groin injury that he was recovering from that he didn't, which is the reason why he didn't do the combine stuff. So that's probably what they're talking about. Carlton Davis also talked about, just the competition in that room. Dan Campbell did talk about Hendon Hooker. He said Hendon Hooker was brought here to not lose you a game. And this is what I was talking about when they signed the Goff extension and people are like, well, what happens with Hooker now? It's like you sit him behind Goff and let him learn because he's a competent backup. That's what you need. I mean, listen, we've had backups out here who couldn't not lose you a game. Tim Boyle. I don't know how Tim Boyle got into the NFL. Let me tell you something. I had better stats in college than Tim Boyle. Not playing. Okay. Listen, his stats were horrendous. I don't understand how he got into the NFL. I think he has something crazy like 4 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. Something crazy like that. If you can Google it, but Tim Boyle's college stats were horrendous. How he got into the league and how he stayed in the league, how he continues to get jobs as a backup quarterback. Listen, he's fast and he's got a big arm. Fantastic. And I won't even go as far as to say fast, but he's mobile. He's mobile and he's got a big arm. That dude's big arm is the most inaccurate. Do you guys remember when he played in Pittsburgh? When you have a quarterback on an NFL football team and you say, we can't throw the ball further than 10 yards down the field, because after 10 yards, he can't control it. He is in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. Well, gentlemen now, right? He's in the NFL. And he can't throw the football more than 10 yards down the field. How does that work? How? I don't understand. Someone please tell me. Someone please tell me. So I think Tim Boyle has some pictures, something. He's got some information on somebody which allows him to continue to get jobs in the NFL. David Blau. Now, we remember in Goff's first year, people, not me, because I knew David Blau wasn't the answer. Like I said, I was not a Goff guy in his first year here. He didn't play well enough for me to be a Goff guy. But people were calling for Blau. And I'm like, why on earth would we call for Blau? Are we trying to go 0-16 again? And it would have been actually 0-17. We would have been the first team to go 0-16 and then the first team to go 0-17. And that would have been a historical thing that just, the ineptitude would have been crazy. But people were calling for David Blau. And I don't know why. I don't know why they were calling for David Blau. They just were. David Blau wasn't good. We had Chase Daniel in here, which we paid $10 million to be a backup quarterback. Chase Daniel got paid $10 million. Chase Daniel wasn't any good. He wasn't any good, especially on this team. So then when you come to Hendon Hooker, and everybody knows Hendon Hooker is the shiny new toy, and he's mobile, and he's got a big arm, and he can fling it, and his accuracy is buttery smooth. Or maybe not his accuracy, but his arm is, his release is buttery smooth. So says Ali McNeil. Right? And everybody wants to see him. And now there are people that are talking about trading him. And it's like, let the man live. Let him be where he's at. He is Jared Goff's backup right now. And that's what he's going to be. Now, if he comes into, if hopefully this doesn't happen, but if he comes into the game because Jared Goff gets injured and then he has a Tom Brady moment, that's something completely different. We'll see him in the preseason. We'll see, hopefully, what he can do, and we'll be excited about our backup. And then as soon as Goff has a stretch of 2 or 3 games where he doesn't play the greatest, we will be calling for Hendon Hooker. That's just what happens. Because people call for David Blau. I was not one of those people. I was not calling for David Blau. And Goff, by the way, didn't start off very well today. He started off 0 for 3 with a near interception. If he was there, see, I told you it would come back to me. Brian Branch. Remember we said we were worried. I was worried mostly about his injury. It appears to be just something that needed to get cleaned up. Like I said this before, that it was a cleanup surgery. And Dan Campbell says he thinks he just likes riding the scooter. But it was a cleanup surgery, and he should be ready to go for the season. He said he expects him to be ready to go for camp. But if that's not the case, he will have enough reps, mentally and just being there, that he'll be ready to go for the season. And that's all we're concerned about. We're not concerned about camp. We're concerned about the football season. And Brian Branch seems like he'll be ready to go for the football season. So as a result, Kirby obviously healing from a hip injury. He had the surgery, right? So Kirby didn't practice. So there was a lot of iffy out there. And that near interception that Goff threw, he almost threw the interception, it was to iffy. Right? So there was a lot of iffy, CJ Moore, and what's the other guy's name? What's the other safety's name? Is it Bobby something? All right. You're testing my knowledge, man. I'm going 5 safeties deep right now, bro. So yeah, if anybody knows the other, because it's on the tip of my tongue. I know this guy played for us last season. He had to play some because we had injuries and things of this nature. What is his name? Anyway, I don't know. Did I catch what Phipps said about how no one in any position is a camp player? I didn't catch that. So what do you mean? Like no one is just a camp body that they brought in just to be a camp body? But they wouldn't have brought in camp bodies this early. They bring them in at camp. Phil said about how no one there in any position is a camp player. Yeah, so like I said, I would expect for them to bring camp bodies in during training camp. So they're not generally on the roster right now anyway. So what else was there from camp? Zeitler and Graham Glasgow were practicing. Ragnow obviously wasn't practicing. I think Decker wasn't practicing. If you guys didn't know, Decker had foot surgery earlier in the offseason. He had a dead bone in his foot that he needed to get removed. So I don't know, maybe that'll help him in, because he looked a step slow last season. So maybe that'll help him to get that cleaned up, because that was something that he was dealing with for quite some time. But yeah, as far as camp and all these other things, not camp, but as far as OTAs, those were the big things that came out from OTAs this today. We'll get to J-Mo speaking for himself in a minute. But one thing that he did say was that he has matured. He said when he got into the league, he did have some childish ways. He wanted to do things the way that he wanted to do things. And he learned that sometimes you just have to listen, and take the coaching and things of this nature. So, I mean, mentally, he's putting it together. Physically, he pretty much had it together already. I mean, J-Mo is not going to gain weight. His legs aren't going to get any bigger, I don't think. Right? That's just, he's going to have to play from there. But he can be a beast and he can be a monster. He's just thin. That's all. He's just thin. Oh, he said, no. He meant ever for any team gig. Oh, okay. So you're saying that they don't bring in guys just to be camp bodies. The camp body thing is something that we have created as fans and as media and stuff. Is that what you're saying? Let me know if that's what you're saying. But yeah, so I think J-Mo is, J-Mo, I don't think he's going to surprise anyone. And what I mean by that is the people that are already fans of J-Mo and understand what he can do, whatever he does on a larger scale than what he already has done, I don't think it's going to surprise anyone. And I think the J-Mo haters are really bitter. So they're not going to be surprised by what he does. I think they know what he can actually do, but it just doesn't support their narrative. So once he, shows what he actually does, what they know he can actually do, again, it's not going to be surprising to them. So I don't really think that J-Mo is going to surprise anyone. There's no NFL team that he's going to sneak up on and they're just going to be like, I didn't know he could do that. Because from the, quote unquote limited amount of tape that he has out there, teams already know what he can do. They saw him on the step down from the biggest stage, right? The biggest stage is the Super Bowl. They saw him in the NFC Championship game. And obviously the NFC Championship game was on by itself, just like the AFC Championship game was on by itself. You weren't flipping between the two, okay, they're both on at the same time. No, that's not the case. So the entire football world was watching Detroit versus San Francisco, and then the entire football world was watching Baltimore versus Kansas City. So everyone knows what J-Mo can do. I don't think it's going to be a surprise at all. Okay, so I get you. It's not their culture to bring in people just as camp bodies. I get it. I understand. All right, let's see what J-Mo had to say for himself a bit as he was at media availability.
Man, just him as a person, he's so energetic. I've never had a DC like him, who's just so into it.
This is Carlton Davis talking about
in the play with you. You know what I'm saying? He's on the field coaching up. Anything goes wrong, he's attacking it. He's not passive at all, and I love that. But he's not like an asshole coach. He's a good guy, and he really wants the best for you.
You must like the idea that he loves man-to-man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, that's what I love, and that's his identity, and that's my identity. Since I came in the league, I'm a man-to-man corner. I like to go up there, press you, lock you down, and he loves that too. So we could be the best of friends, honestly.
Obviously, what's the reaction to that? Just what has been your mindset this offseason coming into your third season?
My mindset has just been like just to get better, do better than I did last year, help the team out a little bit more in a lot of ways. But hearing that come from my coach, it means a lot because I've been working and I've been putting in work ever since the season ended. So it feels good hearing that.
What does it do for your mindset when you got no restriction, not injury, no suspension, you can really come in and just focus on football? What does that do for your mental going into it?
It does a lot, because this is my third year. This is really my first year going out there, getting real reps with the ones and, moving around with the ones, getting reps with JG and things like that, just moving around, getting the right splits and everything, just feeling comfortable, So it's my first year doing all that, and it just feels good going into it.
Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah.
Does it feel like a different mindset coming in here and having Hank be able to say those things? Have you approached it differently?
No. This has always been my mindset, but I've always been the same. I would say that.
You see this offense keep growing, evolving, and you and Jared Goff growing and evolving together, where you almost feel like it's on the verge of a huge bust out, or you already feel that way?
Hold on one more time.
Do you feel like this offense, you with Goff, you showed huge flashes late last year. Do you feel like there's a next level on its way?
Yeah, I think with the way Coach Johnson, Ben Johnson, got his ways of running the offense, I think everybody is due for going up in the offense. Everybody gonna get theirs, and everybody gonna do what they do when they get the ball in their hands. Even when the ball ain't in their hands, we gonna do what it do. But I feel like it's a huge year for the whole offense. Coming off last year, we going to the NFC Championship and doing a lot. We just got a lot to prove and a long way to go.
Obviously, without the pads on, there's only so much you can do right now. But again, you've obviously gotten a great reception. What's important for you to be showing off right now?
Little details like lining up right, getting that stuff right, getting the right play, running the right play. Connecting with the quarterback just a couple times a day, getting catches. Those the main things.
Do you think much at all about that 49ers game? Replayed
Me, nah. I watch it a lot. A lot of my people say something to me about it a lot, but I watch it a lot. I don't really think about it a lot though.
Why do you watch it a lot then? Just
it'd be on my phone, on Twitter a lot, Instagram, YouTube.
Right.
It'd be everywhere.
Just to follow up on those little details, like we don't see what's right or what's wrong about that, but it seems like that's maybe the area where, since you came into the league, like those finer points, you've understood the magnitude of them, I guess. Like, is that fair? I don't know.
Yeah, it's more of a different game. I would say coming into college, you could like freestyle a little bit, just line up anywhere. In the league, it's like you got to be on the perfect spot, make everything look the same type of thing. They would never know if you were doing this or that if you always line up in the same spot, line up here in this formation, and things like that. It's just little things.
Have you done anything different physically, like putting on weight or anything?
I've been lifting a little bit. I've been in that weight room. I do hard time. Yeah, I've been lifting a little bit. I don't usually lift. I've been lifting a little bit.
How much weight have you gained?
I'm the same weight.
Same weight?
Yeah, I'm the same weight. Yeah, I'm the same weight.
What's your going up against Carlton?
It's good. It's only been 3 days. I'm going against him every single time. It's been good work. He real good on the press. I really haven't got any good press. Nobody like the press, but when he press, it's good, real good work. And even his feet, how he plays, everything, his patience, the whole way he plays his game is good. I like going against him. I went against him a couple times in the last 3 days. This whole week, it was good work both ways.
What kind of expectations do you set for yourself this season?
I just want to win. I don't got no personal stuff. I just want to win. We done won last year without me doing anything, so I ain't got no goals of doing nothing but just winning.
What's your reaction when you see JG, Amon-Ra get those long-term contracts? They're taken care of now for the long-term future.
Me next.
This is your third year now.
Mm-hmm.
Third trip with OTAs. How have you changed on a personal level?
Personal level, I think I matured a lot more, coming in the league. I still had some little childish ways. Wanted to do what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. But, sometimes you got to listen and just get on the right track and just follow the right path. You'll be down the right way in just a second.
Do you see yourself in any of these rookies?
I don't know. I know Terrion a little bit. You know, we was real close when we went to school, went against each other, used to kick it, hang it. That's my little brother, but I don't really see like myself. I don't, you know, everybody is their own man, you know, I think. So I don't really think nobody else is me.
With the new rules with the returns, you could express desire that you really need return kicks. Have they said anything to you about it?
I don't know. I really want to score on offense. I want to have receiving touchdown.
Hey, Dan was obviously very complimentary. I walked up late. I'm sure they talked about that. But how do you sort of put that in perspective, knowing you're still a work in progress in some ways?
One more
I guess?
time?
Just as complimentary as Dan was about him being super excited, the growth that you've shown. Like, can you just put that into perspective of you're still a work in progress in some ways? You know, you're still a young player, so I'm sure there's still more you're striving for.
Yeah, it's a lot that I'm striving for, you know. The sky is not the limit. I want to go way above the sky. I want to be the best to ever play my position and things like that. You know, somebody earlier asked me my goals or what I think about the game and stuff like that. That's where I want to be when I'm done playing. So, you know, things like that just make me feel just a little bit better, just to go a little harder, you know. Just a little confidence and a little extra just on my back, you know, just push me a little harder.
Do you feel like you're on that path now?
Oh yeah, I've been on that path since I was 6 years old. When I started playing football, just shooting to the top. That's my goal.
But
Be
in
the best.
terms of like doing the right things to get
Oh
there, I
yeah,
guess,
for
like,
sure,
more
for sure.
capable
Yeah,
of
yeah,
reaching it.
yes sir.
What's Antoine Green like in the room?
He a real good player, you know, real good person. I feel like he came a long way just from last year and just this couple months this offseason, and now we out here playing football. He's got a lot of understanding in the playbook. I feel like he maybe came along faster than me, getting some things down. You know, he's out there getting reps with the ones and twos, and just I think he's moving along well. Going to be some great things you're gonna see out of him.
Do you feel pressure at all, J-Mo? And is there any?
Nah,
So
no
what's
pressure.
the feeling like for you entering year 3, wanting to like really announce yourself in this league?
I don't know. I don't feel no pressure though. I really play football. I've been playing football a long time and been playing in some of the biggest games on TV and things like that. I never really felt no pressure because it's like what I do. It's what I was born to do, what I was made to do, what I was taught to do, you know, so I don't really feel no pressure at all.
What makes Terrian so special?
He's a real patient guy, and he ain't gonna back down for no competition. So you could be the best of the best in front of him, he gonna go at him. So I like that about him. When I went to school and I played at him, he wanted me, and I'm really like, nah, but we go against each other, we bump heads, and he showed me why he wanted me though. So that's why I expect out of him when he come back out here, and we're gonna get some real good work going against each other for sure.
Hey, just since I was up in the bleachers, the drop, or anything in particular happened?
Nah, just a drop. Next play.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, we see the maturity. We see the joy that he plays with. You know, J-Mo is a guy that's always smiling. He's always happy to be here. He's always happy to be out there. I mean, people killed him for, you know, his reaction when he got drafted by the Detroit Lions, and everybody wanted to say, well, he didn't want to be here. Oh, it's just because he was drafted by Detroit. He hates Detroit. Why isn't he smiling? He's angry. I mean, a lot of guys are angry when they get drafted by or in a position that they didn't feel that they would get drafted in. So if you're looking at, okay, a guy is mad because he went number 12 to the Detroit Lions. Who had the number 1 pick that year? The team that had the number 1 pick that year was the worst team. So you're like, well, I want to go number 1. Oh, you just don't like Detroit because it's a bad team. No, I wanted to go to the worst team. You know? Like these guys, they're competitors. They want to be drafted high. Everybody wants to be the number 1 overall pick. Everybody wants that. Everyone wants to be the first player selected at their position. Everybody wants that. So when you don't get that, there's a bit of disappointment. And this Rakestraw was upset because he got drafted in the 2nd round. He wasn't upset because he got drafted by the Detroit Lions. He was upset because he got drafted in the 2nd round. He wasn't the first cornerback taken. Like if you're playing in the NFL, you have to have the mentality that I am the best at my position, even though you might not be. You have to have that mentality. So J-Mo has been smiling nonstop since he got to Detroit. He's been smiling nonstop since he got to Detroit. All these guys love their teammates. All these guys love the culture. All these guys love the environment, bro. So it is just something that is fantastic to see coming out of Detroit. We've been waiting a long time for this type of culture. And we didn't know we were waiting for the culture. We just thought we were waiting for a good team. But this culture is why this team is good. Jack Campbell talked about it, and you guys can go and watch the full media availability. But Jack Campbell kept talking about like doing your job and helping out the other people, because when he does his assignment, then the other people know where he's going to be. He's helping out his DBs because they can count on him being where he's supposed to be, and vice versa. Like, so everyone has this sense of responsibility to each other, and that's what J-Mo is talking about. When he said that everyone was gonna get their opportunity when they get the ball in a Ben Johnson offense, they're obviously going to do what they do when they don't have the ball as well. So this is just anybody who's a J-Mo hater out there, and I'm gonna put this out as a short. Anybody that's a J-Mo hater out there, stop the hate, man. Just stop the hate. This young man doesn't deserve the hate. The only thing that J-Mo has done was not know the gambling rules. He didn't injure himself when he came in from Alabama. That wasn't on him. Yes, there were some things that he admitted that he could do better, and he's learning how to line up, yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing that you have to understand as well. J-Mo's a freelancer. Yeah, okay. He was allowed to do that in college. So you can't knock him for being a freelancer when he was allowed to freelance in college. If the coach didn't rein that in, because Nick Saban is all about winning, right? And generally, Nick Saban is a defensive coach. So whoever the offensive coach was at the time, was it Steve Sarkisian or Lane Kiffin, whoever it was, right? If he didn't rein that in and he didn't make sure that this wide receiver was ready to say, look, in the NFL, you can't be doing this. And if you keep doing this at Alabama, we're going to sit you on the bench. So if he didn't have that type of coaching, and he saw that when he got to the NFL, you can't do that because your reps are going to suffer. And his reps started to get more and more and more when he started to do that less and less and less. Stop the hate. Stop the J-Mo hate. If you are a fan of the Detroit Lions, stop the J-Mo hate. That's all I got. As always,